under sunny skies and a chilling temperature of 8 degrees above zero. This is Ray Joyce and Bob Reynolds as the CBS Radio Network brings you this 37th annual National Football League Championship game with the Western Conference champion Minnesota Vikings meeting the Eastern Conference champion Cleveland Browns for the NFL title.
The field really is in great shape. The Browns crew here at Minnesota have done a superb job. They did last week in getting it ready for the game with the Los Angeles Rams, and they have repeated that performance here in getting it set for this one this afternoon. Covered by the top all week long and heated with the butane blowers underneath before they took it off. It's in good shape. It may be a little greasy and a little bit slippery, but if it's no worse than it was in last week's game against Los Angeles, it should not have any great effect. The wind, however, will be a factor.
Bob, we noticed that the Cleveland Browns were carrying an extra pair of shoes with them as they came out. They were carrying their sneakers, indicating that perhaps they anticipate a frozen turf by the second period or perhaps the third quarter.
That's quite possible. The field crew here used 4 million BTUs daily under this top, which covers the fiberglass blanket to keep it real. And here now come the Minnesota Vikings, led by their all-pro center, Nick Dinglehoff, number 53.
The winner of this afternoon's game moves on to meet the American Football League champion, either the Oakland Raiders or the Kansas City Chiefs, for the World Championship of Professional Football in the Super Bowl next Sunday in New Orleans.
I think it's an interesting thing to note, the difference between the two quarterbacks, Ray. As you mentioned, Nelson with his quick release, and Cap, on the other hand, having the tendency to hang on to it as long as he can before he stops his receiver. And I agree. I think that we're going to see Nelson go to the quick one and go to the middle, perhaps more today than we've seen him in the past. The Minnesota Vikings won the toss. They will receive, and the Cleveland Browns will kick off to them.
Waiting for the whistle. There it is, the run-up and the boot by Cockcroft. It's high, it's end over end. It comes down at the 7-yard line to West. West coming up on the near side, gets across the 25 up to the 29 or 30-yard line. Cap barking out the signal. Going back, rolling out to his left, looks downfield, fires the pass. It is incomplete. The pass on the far side intended for the wide receiver, John Henderson. The winner's share, approximately $8,000. The loser's share, approximately $5,000. And to the winner goes the Super Bowl. Cap on a long count. Turns on the draw play, handing off straight up the middle, goes Bill Brown. Brown roaring across the 40-yard line, gets to the 41 or 42-yard line before Jim Houston, the left side linebacker, can make the stop for the Cleveland Browns, and that's a first down. First and 10 for the Vikings, the first down of the afternoon. First and 10 at their own 42-yard line. The backs are split as Cap goes back to pass. Sets good protection. Fires the bomb far downfield. The pass is caught by Gene Washington as he falls out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Mike Powell was covering, but Washington made a catch, fell over backwards and fell out of bounds. It's first and 10 on a 34-yard pass play from Joe Cap to his fine receiver, Gene Washington. Cleveland again in the 4-3 defense. The handoff to the second man through it, Dave Volsky. Alford roaring inside the 10, still going on his feet, and he is down to the 7-yard line where he has been hit by Ernie Coleman. But that's another first down for the Minnesota Vikings. First and goal to go at the Cleveland Browns 7-yard line. That's their third first down in this drive. Washington is split wide to the right side this time with Henderson split to the left. Cap again looking at a Cleveland 4-3 defense. And a mix-up in the signals. Cap carries himself, gets to the 1-yard line. He's over for the touchdown. A busted play as Joe Cap turns to hand off. He was looking for Dave Osborne. They bumped into each other. Cap pivoted around, went straight up the middle, and scored. And the Minnesota Vikings have drawn first blood in this ball game and take the lead 6-0.
Well, there's one that you won't see very often, I'm sure, and as Ray so aptly described it, it indeed was a broken play. Cap had nobody to hand it to, and he just turned around and with full strength took it in for the score.
Fred Cox to attempt the point after touchdown. The kick is up. It is good. Steps strong to the right side. Bill Nelson goes back to pass, fires the swing pass to both Scott at the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, across the the 35. He is up to the 28 or 39-yard line, and he was chased and finally down by Carl Eller, the defensive left end once again of the Minnesota Vikings. But it's a first down for the Cleveland Browns on that swing pass to the running back, Bo Scott, on the right side. 4-3 defense once again as Nelson goes back to pass. The quick pass over the middle is incomplete again, intended for Bo Scott. Bo Scott on that square pattern right over the middle, trying to make the reception at the midfield stripe. The pass was underthrown. Wally Hilgenberg was covering for the Minnesota Vikings, and it's fourth down. On 1st and 10, Joe Kapp rolls to his left, fires the long pass intended for Gene Washington. It is incomplete. Covering with Walt Sumner for the Cleveland Browns, and it will be second down and 10 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings at their own 24-yard line.
There's no question, of course, but what Kapp will work on the rookie over there at the corner, Walt Sumner. He is the only rookie in that backfield for Cleveland, and figuring the importance of this ball game, the kid might be a little nervous. He's testing him early.
Third down and 9 yards to go. A big play coming up for Joe Kapp. The backs are set strong to the right side. Kapp on a long count. Goes back to pass. Looks. Good protection. Fires the ball. Far downfield for Washington. He's got it. A 75-yard scoring pass. And the defender for the Cleveland Browns fell down at the 40-yard line. Covering Washington man for man, fell down at the 40-yard line. He may have slipped. Washington was all by himself when he made the reception at the 35. And the Minnesota Vikings move out in front 13-0 as they strike with lightning-like swiftness here in the first period. 7:53 remaining. Once again, Fred Cox comes in to attempt the point after touchdown. Minnesota in the 4-3 defense. The handoff to Leroy Kelly on the sweep around the left side. He can't cut the corner, and he is down at the 25-yard line by Wally Hilgenberg, the right side linebacker of the Minnesota Vikings. Leroy Kelly on that famous sweep with the guards pulling. Gene Hickerson leading the play. Could not pick up any yardage. It brings up a 3rd and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Behind Bill Nelson. Nelson has to pass, goes back to the 15-yard line. Fires the bullet pass, almost intercepted. 2 Minnesota Vikings colliding at the 38-yard line, or that would have been an interception. Roy Winston had his hands on the ball. He collided. It was intended for Gary Collins, the wide receiver on the right side, who ran a down and in pattern. Split to the left. Gary Collins is wide to the right. The handoff to Kelly on the quick opener. Across the 40, fumble on the play at the 43, recovered by Minnesota. The Vikings, where Gary Larson falling on that football at the 43-yard line, and Minnesota takes over in fine field position at the Cleveland 42.5-yard line.
That's what it looked like. The Cleveland Browns might be getting a little momentum going.
Second down and 8 yards to go for Minnesota. Turns, hands off to Bill Brown. Brown going off his own left tackle, gets hooked to the 36-yard line. He is stopped by the right side of that Cleveland defense. Third down, 2 yards to go at the Cleveland 35. The handoff goes to Osborne. Osborne plunging ahead, gets to the 30-yard line on a second effort, and he is finally tackled by Jim Konecki and by John Garland in the pass. Another first down for the Minnesota Vikings, who are an aroused football team this afternoon. Deep in Cleveland territory. Back to pass goes Kapp. Rush gets the pass off. A great catch made by Washington at the 18-yard line. Eric Barnes making the stop, and there was pinpoint passing by Joe Kapp as he hit Washington on that hook pattern at the 18-yard line. A 12-yard pass and a first down, and there's begun the end of the first quarter with the score. The Minnesota Vikings 14, the Cleveland Browns nothing. The Minnesota Vikings have the ball deep in Cleveland territory. They dominated the entire first quarter as Cleveland was able to gain only 11 yards on the ground to the Vikings 55. Nelson in the passing department in that first period was 1 for 4. Joe Kapp completed 3 of 6. Bob Grimm now in the ball game, split on the left side. Kapp goes back to pass to the 40-yard line. Rush rolls rolls to his left side, looking downfield. He's going to run. He's at the 35, the 30, and finally wrestled out of bounds inside the 30-yard line by John Garlington, the right side linebacker who ran him out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Back to split. The handoff on a quick opener to Osborne, and Osborne cutting inside the 25-yard line, gets down to the 21, where Jim Houston, the left side linebacker, makes the stop. Cleveland in the 4-3 defense. Cap turns, goes back to pass, fakes play action, looks, fires a pass, wide open. Henderson can't make the catch in the end zone. Henderson was chased by Ernie Kellerman, but he was wide open. The right side of that end zone, and the pass by Joe Cap was overthrown incomplete. So that will bring up a fourth, and still 14 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings as Fred Cox comes into the football game, and we will apparently get a field goal attempt.
Cox will have what wind there is here, and it's not very much, at his back, and he'll attempt it from the just about the 29.
Cross is holding. There's the kick by Cox. It's high enough. It is good. Collins is put wide to the right side. The handoff on a quick opener goes to Leroy Kelly, and Kelly busts across the 40, gets up to the 44-yard line. He has the first down for the Cleveland Browns. It's Lonnie Warwick, the 6'3", 235-pound middle linebacker of the Minnesota Vikings, who finally made the stop. Wide to the right side is Gary Collins. Nelson goes back to pass on third down, fires a pass for Collins. It's incomplete. The pass was underthrown. Collins was wide open at the 40-yard line of the Vikings. He was covered by Carl Kazuki, but the pass was underthrown, incomplete, and that will bring up a 4th and 3. Paul Warfield now wearing sneakers as Nelson rolls to the right, fires the pass. It is intercepted. The pass is picked off on the far side by Wally Hilgenberg. It was intended. The pass was intended for Bull Scott. Coming out of that backfield, the pass was thrown behind him. Wally Hilgenberg was right there to make the interception. It's 1st and 10 for Minnesota at their own 33-yard line. Cleveland overshifting their defense. Cap handing off on a power play. Veering to the outside is Osborne. He's got the opening at midfield, the 45, and out of bounds finally at the Cleveland 42-yard line. That was an off-tackle play as the hole closed up quickly. Osborne veered off to his left and picked up 15 yards before Mike Howell and Ernie Kellerman could make the stop out of bounds downfield. Cleveland moves into a 4-3 defense. He turns, hands off once again to Oscar Reed on a power play. Straight up the middle he goes. He gets to perhaps the Cleveland 28-yard line. Once again, he's pushed back by Walter Johnson, the defensive left tackle, and by Erich Farr. As Joe Cap backpedals, he wants to pass. Good protection, fires the pass. He's got Henderson open at the 20-yard line. He makes the catch and is hit immediately by Erich Barnes. It puts back to the 22, but they give him his forward progress at the 20-yard line, and that's another first down. This time, Cap sends Washington wide to the right side with Henderson split left. Cap handing off on a counter play. It's Osborne at the 10-yard line, the 5. He's over for the touchdown. Dave Osborne on a 20-yard counter play, coming back off his own left tackle, found a gaping hole in the right side of that Cleveland defense. And the Minnesota Vikings have moved 67 yards in 7 plays to move to a 23-0 lead over the Cleveland Browns, and we're still in the first half.
Great block, too, that time by Henderson on Sumner, the cornerback. And Osborne, who's been having a great day here today, just powered his way in for the score.
Cox taking the extra point. It's up. It is good. Timeout is called on the field with the score. The Minnesota Vikings 24, the Cleveland Browns nothing. The backs are split behind Bill Nelson. Nelson turns, hands off to Leroy Kelly. He's got an opening at the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, across the 40, and finally he is run out of bounds at the 45-yard line by Paul Krause, the free safety of the Minnesota Vikings, and that will be a Cleveland first down and perhaps their best offensive effort of this football game. A 22-yard run by Leroy Kelly. Collins is split wide to the right side. Back to pass goes Nelson. Sets, fires the pass to Collins. He's got it at the 47 to the 45 and spilled at the Minnesota 43-yard line. Third down and 7 yards to go for the Cleveland Browns as Nelson goes back to pass. Sets, fires the pass, but great catch by Gary Collins at the 30, and he gets to the 20. 35-yard line as he was covered by two defenders, Carl Kazuki and Ursula McBee, on double coverage, pinpoint passing that time by Bill Nelson. He made the catch at first and 10.
The gun goes off, and that's the end of the first half with the score. The Minnesota Vikings 24, the Cleveland Browns nothing. The opening moments of this, the third quarter, from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, the 1969 National Football League Championship game. Once again, Collins comes wide to the right, Warfield to the left. Here's Nelson dropping straight back in the pocket. A little screen out here to Bo Scott at the 20, up to the 30, into the inside to the 40, to the 45, up to midfield to the outside, and he's put from behind and dropped inside the Minnesota 40. They'll mark it about the 40-yard line. And making the tackle on him there was Carl Kazuki. A good block that time by Paul Warfield. 35 yards on the screen to Bo Scott. And the Browns now at the 40-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings, first down and 10. This Kelly and Scott is his setback. Bill looks over the defense, which is 4. Drops the ball straight back in the pocket. Stops, looks, goes with a long run into the end zone. And it is caught and intercepted for the touchback by Carl Kraus. Paul Kraus making the interception in the end zone. That's the second interception. And that, of course, stops the drive of the Cleveland Browns, and the Vikings will put it in play first and 10 at their own 20, and nothing seems to go right for the Browns. Washington is left now as Cap calls the signal, gives the ball off to Osborne. Osborne finding some room, off of his right tackle, twists and turns, up over the 30, and is finally brought down around the 34-yard line by Walt Johnson. A gain on the play of 14 yards and a first down, and what a day he's having, Ray. Osborne, the power runner that he is. 6 foot, 205 pounds, 5-year veteran at North Dakota. With 6:32 to go in the third period. Cap takes his time, drops straight back in the hole, looks for somebody, keeps it himself now, runs to the outside, and he has got some running room. Gets down inside the 35 and is finally dumped hard around the 32-yard line. And Jim Houston is the man who hit it, and Houston is the man who's slow getting up. Picked up 14 yards to the 34-yard line and a key first down. And believe me, Ray, Cap is as strong as a bull.
He runs like a tank, and he certainly has the physical qualifications. He's 6'3", 213, and he really hit Houston. They collided head-on. Houston is still down on the field at the 35-yard line. The Browns trainer and the team doctor have come on the field. He really hasn't moved a muscle since the collision over there, and Cap came barreling down, Bob, with such force.
Jim Houston, who made the tackle that time on Cap that was shaken up, has been taken out of there, and Billy Andrews, number 52, linebacker, has come in to take his place. Cap with the ball, dropping straight back into the pocket, looks, fires down here, and he's got Brown hit. At the 40, and Brown is inside the 30 and down to the 28 or 29 with it. And Mike Powell is the man who finally brings him down.
Well, there we saw Joe Cap taking advantage of the youngster Billy Andrews in his third season, the left side linebacker, as he isolated Bill Brown man for man on the left side linebacker of the Cleveland Browns, who came in to replace Jim Houston. And, of course, again, it was pinpoint passing by Cap as he beat Billy Andrews on the play.
As Nelson brings him up, he has Gary Collins wide to the right, Warfield to the left. Bill goes straight back in the pocket, gets good protection, fires one out here, and it is caught at the midfield mark beautifully by the tight end, Milt Morin, and he's finally forced out of bounds at the Minnesota 45-yard line. Milt Morin making a fine catch. Nelson that time had plenty of time to get the ball away. And Morin was right where he should have been. The young man from the University of Massachusetts taking the ball and going out of bounds at the 45. Collins is wide to the right, Warfield to the left, and back goes Nelson again, looking for somebody, fires it down here, and it's caught beautifully at the 35-yard line by Warfield. He's hit and dropped there.
Bob, on that last play, the slant-in pattern to Paul Warfield, this is the bread and butter play of the Cleveland Browns, and that's one of the few times this afternoon that Nelson and Warfield have been able to make it work.
Second down, and 7 to go for the first down. The ball is the Browns at the 27-yard line of Minnesota. First play of the fourth quarter. Nelson brings him up as Warfield wide, along with Gary Collins. Takes the ball, drops straight back in the pocket, looks, goes deep. Throws it to Warfield, and Warfield makes a diving catch at the 10 and is stopped at the 8-yard line. And as Ray mentioned, that's the play that Nelson and Warfield like to combine on. Warfield goes down, cuts sharply in, and he made a great catch of that one, Ray.
Yes, he did, and the Cleveland Browns seemed perhaps to have found the weakness in the secondary because Leroy Kelly was also wide open as they were splitting the defense.
First and goal at the 9-yard line as Nelson grabs the ball, goes for Gary Collins. Collins has got it, and out of bounds he goes around the 3-yard line. Roy Winston over there. That's probably the toughest pass to defense anyway. That little quick one out on the flat, and Gary Collins was right there. Browns trying to get on the board. They trail 27-0. Back he goes, Nelson to throw. Fires it at the end zone. Touchdown complete to Gary Collins. And so the Cleveland Browns at the 13:36 mark of the final period are on the board, and they trail now 27-6. They went 64 yards in 10 plays as Nelson took them sharply in for the touchdown.
And Nelson was hit pretty good just as he got rid of the ball by Alan Page, but nonetheless, the pass right on target, and Cleveland has finally managed to put 6 points on the board.
As Cap looks over the defense, grabs the ball, drops back in the pocket. Now looks, still looks, and he's going to be dumped for a huge loss back inside about the 25-yard line. Jack Gregory is in there, number 81, along with Jim Kinnicky. 69. That's the first time, Ray, that they have gotten to Joe Cap.
Yes, and during the season, of course, this was one of the big plays for Cleveland. That was getting to the opposing quarterbacks, and Cleveland perhaps got their second win here in the fourth quarter. 11:27 remain.
Gary Collins to the right. Grabs the ball, goes back, looks for somebody, going for Warfield down, and it's short to Kelly at the 40 as Kelly makes the catch. And is dropped by Wally Hilgenberg, the right linebacker. Around the 40-yard line. Pick up of 8 on the play, second down and 2. Nelson going to Leroy Kelly that time. And he is now 13 out of 24 is Nelson for 141 yards. Nelson with it, dropping straight back in the pocket. Fires over here, and it is caught again by Kelly. Kelly twists his way up from a couple of guys, and is finally dropped around the 48 or 49 by Herschel McVie. Leroy Kelly, who on the ground was 15 for 83 of the 96 yards that the Browns had a little bit ago on the ground.
Paul Warfield continues to draw double coverage from that secondary of the Minnesota Vikings, and now Bill Nelson has reverted to firing that pass to his running back, who is flaring or swinging out of the backfield.
Out of bounds. Nelson, first and 10 at the 49, goes back to throw. The rush is on, and he's going to have to move out of there, and he does, and he's pulled out from behind. That's the 42. And move there. Alan Page.
Well, you can almost hear that hit from up here in our broadcast booth as Nelson tried to roll out, and his receivers were well covered that time. He tried to run with the football, and Alan Page got him from behind, and when he went down, Bob, on both of those knees without cartridges, you could feel the Cleveland bench reacting.
Collins to the right, and here is Nelson going to the air again. Good protection, fires it down here, he's got Warfield again, and Warfield goes down at the Vikings 40-yard line, but it's enough for the first down. So the drive continues. Jim Hargrove again making the stop on him at the 40. 13 yards on the play. 15 out of 26 for Nelson for 163 yards as he grabs and goes back and fires that quick one out to Collins, who's hit and driven out immediately by Herschel McVie on the far sideline. Gain of about 5, second and 5 at the 35. 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Third and 5, and a big one here for the Browns. Nelson dropping back, looking for somebody. Fires it over here to Warfield. Warfield makes the catch at around the 28 and is dropped around the 26. And Wally Hilgenberg is the man who makes the tackle.
The clock is running against the Cleveland Browns, 7:23 to go, and these plays that do not go out of bounds are consuming the time.
Warfield left and Collins right. On the defense shifting around. Back goes Nelson to roll. Rolls out and throws, and it is no good. And he was hit and hit hard. During that timeout, Bill Nelson went over to the sideline, shaking his right arm a little bit, and I have an idea, Ray, that he hurt it. Not only that time, but I think earlier in the ball game too, because we noticed him favoring it just a little bit. 3 minutes and 53 seconds of playing time remaining, and the clock continues to run. Takes his time, lets the clock run, gives the ball off to keeps it himself rather on a good fake, rolls out to the left, and he's got some yardage, and finally goes out of bounds on the far side around the 31-yard line, and Mike Howell forces him out of bounds there, and a fine fake by Joe Cap that time, Ray, to pick up another first down to keep it moving to the 32.
Well, what an exhibition Joe Cap is giving these 47,900 partisan Minnesota Viking fans here this afternoon. Running, passing, ball handling, execution. He has put it all together here.
And the gun goes off, and that is it. That's the end of the ball game, and the Minnesota Vikings have won the National Football League Championship with a 27-7 victory over the Cleveland Browns. And down on the field, they are completely gone berserk, now trying to tear the goalpost down, and that's going to be a little difficult as much as they're made of steel. And the Minnesota Vikings trying to get off the field into one piece into their dressing room. Cleveland managed 14 first downs today, most of them in the second half, and 101 yards, that's all, rushing. Bill Nelson passed 33 times, completed only 17 for 177 yards. And on the other hand, the Vikings picked up 232 yards on the ground, and led by Joe Cap, who completed 7 out of 13 for 169 and 2 touchdowns. They just completely dominated the action here in this big one today. Everything that the Vikings did, they did right, and the Browns simply couldn't do anything right. They're still working on the goalpost down there, Ray. This crowd here at Minnesota, which numbered 47,900 today, determined to get them down.
From Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, this is Ray Geraci saying so long for Bob Reynolds. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Where's the juice? Oh, yeah. Oh, look out.
We stuck with it. Towards the end of the game, we went to our running game. We wanted to run the clock out, and we stayed with it.
Have a little juice.
I don't need
Yeah.
Get the camera right here.
Soda pop. Hard running. Hard drink. I'm going to throw it all over you.
Don't throw any on me. Let me talk to this man first. Any more questions?